Imagine being one of England's hottest young talents at 19, playing for a top Premier League team and then ending up playing in the 8th tier, with your career completely derailed. Where do you even start with a footballer who's played in all 5 divisions of English football, done time in jail twice, struggled with a gambling problem, and had clubs tear up his contracts left and right for bad behaviour? From Premier League star to one of England's most notorious repeat offenders, his journey is wild, shocking and tragic. How does someone with so much promise lose it all? Let's dive into Nile Ranger's unbelievable rise and fall. So, if you think your past is messy, just check out Nile Ranger's rap sheet. It's not exactly something you'd put on a resume. This guy has been mixed up in all sorts of trouble, from street robbery and assault to getting slapped with a fine by the FA for a homophobic tweet back in 2012. Seriously, he's even faced some heavy stuff like a rape trial, criminal damage charges, and let's not forget the money laundering gig. Now at 33 years old, Nile's hanging out with Kettering Town after a stint at Boreham Wood in 2022, where he barely got to kick the ball for more than 10 minutes. Talk about a fall from grace. Just picture it. He used to be raking in £40,000 a month at Newcastle, playing alongside legends like Fabrizio Collicini and Hatem Ben Arfa. Born on 11th of April 1991 in West London, Nile's early life was more chaotic than a wild party. His first memory? Getting booted from primary school for being a total menace. Yep, abusing teachers and throwing down with classmates. His mum, Karen, bless her heart, tried everything to get him on the straight and narrow, even dragging him to church. But let's be real, the only models he looked up to were his mates, since his dad wasn't around much. From a young age, Nile was all about football. He joined local clubs and was scooped up by Crystal Palace when he was just 10, rubbing shoulders with future stars like Wilfried Zaha and Josh Bostock. But man, those disciplinary issues, they caught up with him fast. He was always in trouble at school, even stealing phones from classmates and selling them in Finsbury Park with some local gang. Instead of focusing on football, he was off gambling at bookies with his cousin, picking up a nasty addiction that would stick with him for years. By 13, things took a serious turn. He got kicked out of school for, get this, setting a classmate on fire with a Bunsen burner. With no school willing to take him, he found himself in a special institution for troubled youth, basically a mini prison. But while there, Nile had a lightbulb moment. Football could be his ticket out. So he joined a semi-pro team, Broadwater Farm. But guess what? He couldn't shake off those bad influences and ended up in hot water again, even getting arrested for robbing a nearby high school. Nile's criminal adventures just wouldn't quit. Even with an electric tag on his ankle, he somehow managed to take it off and keep robbing houses. His mum was at her wit's end and called the cops on him multiple times, leading to more time behind bars. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, he joined Romford FC and even got into a fancy football academy run by Danny Shitu. But surprise, surprise, he got caught swiping stuff from the academy's dressing room and was banned again. Things got real when he was sentenced to 4 months in a young offender institution for armed robbery. He spent 23 hours a day locked up. But the silver lining? He played for the prison football team, which helped him keep his head up. After 2 months, he finally got out and went back to Southampton, where he was ready for a fresh start. And guess what? He shined in the academy, became the top scorer, and even got some attention from the coaches. But old habits die hard, right? He couldn't resist the nightlife, sneaking out to clubs even though he wasn't supposed to. That led to the club getting an unexpected letter from the Crown Prosecution Service about his criminal history. So, he was out of there, back to London, where his friends were all too eager to drag him back to his old ways. Still, Nile's talent was hard to ignore. He got trials with other clubs and eventually signed with Newcastle United. He moved into digs with other youth players, and with a strict routine, things were looking up. He started scoring goals, caught the eye of manager Kevin Keegan, and even got invited to train with the first team. Nile's big moment came in August 2009 when he made his first team debut. He didn't start, but coming off the bench was a game changer. By December, he scored his first goal in a championship match. And guess what? His epic performances helped Newcastle bounce back to the Premier League. Nile was living the dream. Everyone was calling him a wonder kid, and he was out on the town, partying like there was no tomorrow. But behind all that glam, the same old problems were lurking. Late nights, gambling, and a mountain of debt that was getting out of control. Fast forward to the 2009-10 season and things took a turn. Even though he was super talented, Nile couldn't keep it together. He was always late for training after wild nights out. His gambling addiction hit an all-time high, and he started borrowing serious cash from his teammates just to keep afloat. Then came a sweet 5-year contract, but instead of staying grounded, Nile dove deeper into trouble. His gambling was so out of hand that club owner Mike Ashley had to ban him from every casino in Tyne and Weir. But Nile just brushed it off, even getting into fights with security guards to get in and gamble, thinking his big paycheck made it all okay. The club tried to steer him straight, with veteran players like Fabrizio Colaccini having serious chats with him about the dangers of gambling. Mark Viduka and Alan Smith even weighed in, telling him to save his money and stay humble. But Nile, at just 19, he felt like he was invincible and wasn't interested in their advice. Then, a £96,000 promotion bonus hit his bank account. And what did Nile do? He bought a brand new Range Rover and proudly called it the Power Ranger. His teammate Andy Carroll even took it for a joyride, parking it outside the player's entrance. The manager was begging him to stay humble, but instead, Nile just got cockier. On the pitch, he was still delivering, like that unforgettable goal in a wild 4-3 League Cup win against Chelsea in September 2010. But off the pitch, not so much. One time, a club official had to step in after finding out about a scandalous photo of Nile posing with a BB gun. The cops looked into it, but Nile managed to dodge serious trouble, only getting hit with a 2-week wage fine. Still, Newcastle was growing frustrated with his antics. After yet another crazy night out, he got caught driving under the influence, which cost him £3,000 and a year-long driving ban. Under new manager Alan Pardew, his constant tardiness and late-night partying pushed him down the ranks. Even when he was sent to train with the academy kids as punishment, he just didn't seem to care. Things got super messy when he ended up in court after a run-in with 2 guys who racially abused him. In a panic, Nile lashed out, leading to assault charges against the guys and even the cops who arrested him. Luckily, CCTV footage saved him from serious consequences, but it was just another mark on his already shaken reputation. Then there was the infamous £6,000 fine from the FA for making homophobic comments online. Nile didn't really care about how he came across. He even posed for photos flaunting stacks of £20 notes, making people think he was just showing off his wealth. Halloween 2011 took things to a whole new level when Nile showed up dressed as a prisoner and ended up getting arrested after a drunken spat with his ex-girlfriend. His behaviour kept spiralling, leading to more legal messes and a loan to Barnsley. There, he briefly turned things around, scoring a crucial goal that helped them get promoted to the Championship. He even took off his shirt, revealing a vest that said, "I'm a changed man," which, let's be real, was a little ironic considering he was still stuck in his bad habits. As Nile's off-field drama escalated, he snapped at fans on Twitter after a loss to Reading, which sparked a major backlash. The club supporters weren't having it. They even spray-painted his garage. Pardew gave him one last shot, but Nile's lack of accountability shone through when a text from his girlfriend led him to chase after her to London, resulting in yet another arrest for breaking into her apartment. And just when he thought it couldn't get worse, Nile found himself in yet another scandal after a consensual encounter with a woman led to serious allegations. This was a massive deal, and it marked the end of his time at Newcastle. Despite the club's past loyalty, they let him go, and good luck finding other teams willing to take a chance on him after that. He tried to piece things together with a stint at Swindon Town, where he started strong but quickly fell back into his old habits. His motivation vanished, and he skipped training while grappling with the weight of his past. Nile had a brief revival at Southend United, showing flashes of talent before falling back into trouble again, landing an 8-month prison sentence for conspiracy to defraud. Even after getting out and stepping back onto the pitch, his bad decisions kept haunting him. His journey took him to clubs like Blackpool and Oxford United, but it was a rough ride filled with disappointment. Nile often found himself reflecting on his wasted potential and all the chances he threw away. After years of struggles, Nile finally found a bit of stability, trying to mentor young players through a youth academy and even playing in Sunday league matches. He had some bright spots in life, like getting married and welcoming a son, but his past still loomed over him. Then, in late 2023, he stirred up drama again by trying to cash in on the Carabao Cup final between Newcastle and Manchester United by reselling tickets at ridiculous prices. Seriously, Nile? As he edges closer to his mid-30s, he's starting to feel the weight of regret, claiming he could have been among the best if he'd just made smarter choices. And in his own words, Nile says, "I'm Haaland if I'd eaten and behaved better." It's a big wake-up call about how crucial it is to make the right choices, both on and off the pitch. If you found this story fascinating, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible sports stories. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Nile could have done differently?